hour being 7:31. The Board of Health will start the meeting for May 6, 2025. And we can start with the approval of the minutes from the April 15, 2025 meeting. Does anyone have any comments on the minutes? I have one. From the Lifeguard Variance Fairfield Inn. This is the only motion that I didn't see where it says this variance expires at the end of this pool season with an end date of May 31st. Everything else, all the other variances had that.
It had all the other ones have it in the motion on the minutes, Mona?
Yes, except for the Fairfield Inn, Melissa.
Okay, so we'll make sure that we add that.
Okay.
Oh, I see the variance expires at the end of this pool season. Okay.
Right. Yeah, everything else seems okay.
Okay, perfect. We'll make that change.
Hey, sorry guys, can you hear me okay?
Oh yeah, we can hear you, Rich.
Sorry about that. Yeah, my headset died again, so I'm on my phone, but I got everybody. Sorry I'm late.
Don't be sorry at all. Things happen.
All yours, Rich.
Well, I assume we started off a little bit, huh? Are we, have we hit anything yet?
We're at the approval of the minutes. I just made an amendment and that's all.
Awesome. So do we hear a motion for approval of the minutes?
Yeah, I'll make a motion in regards to the minutes approval for the April 15, 2025 meeting. The board approved the minutes as amended.
Great. Motion's been made. Do we hear a second?
I can second it.
Thank you much. Motion made and seconded. Any other comments? Then we will vote. We'll start with Rachel.
Aye.
And Mona.
Aye.
And Stefan.
Aye.
Josh.
Not quite yet. Soon.
Oh,
Sorry.
thought we had you on the hook. All right, one more.
Next meeting.
Yep.
All right, then you're stuck with me. I'll say aye also. So 4-0-0. Minutes are approved. Thank you. Now, next on the agenda, looks like we have a few lifeguard variances, starting with Home 2 Suites.
Correct. So let me see, I'll share my screen just so you have it up on the screen. But again, this is a repeat lifeguard variance. There were no issues in this variance request for the last pool season. And I don't believe anyone is on the call for Home 2 Suites. But I can answer any questions anyone has. And like I said, I'll just quickly share my screen. So then that way, when the time comes to make a motion, it's in front of you. But just to refresh everyone's memory, so this is the hotel. Again, it's not a frequently visited pool. So what they do require though is anyone looking to use the pool does have to check in with their front desk staff and they're given access to the pool. So no one visiting the hotel unless they're going to the front desk has access to the pool. And this pool is also, the AED is on site at the pool as well. And then obviously, does everyone see the conditions from the last variance request approval on the screen? Okay, good.
So the only question I have is I know last time we say one AED must be obtained. I believe since the last one, has there one been installed and put in?
So yes, they've had one since they opened. It was, I believe, the hotel procedure in order to have one on site. But they have one active in the pool area, correct?
Gotcha. Good. If we do the approval for this one, maybe we just take a note to change the wording, say at least one AED or be obtained. So maybe at least one AED on site and maintained in close proximity, something to that effect.
Okay, that's definitely a good suggestion.
Wasn't that in last year's motion? It says at least one AED be obtained and maintained, right?
But I think I think just the first part that says be obtained, like he's saying that it already should be on site,
Oh, should be on site, okay.
which they have. They haven't never not had one on site.
Okay, any other comments, questions? Anybody want to entertain a motion regarding the request for variance for home 2 suites?
I can make a motion in regards to the home 2 suites lifeguard variance. The Board of Health grants the variance, reiterating comments from the May 7th, 2024 meeting with the addition that at least one AED should be on site and in close proximity to the pool in the pool area.
Very good. Motion made. Do we hear a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other comments, changes, additions? Then we will vote. Start with Stefan
Aye.
and Mona,
Aye.
Rachel,
Aye.
and I also. Lifeguard variance has been granted with the wording and the slight changes. The next one is we have Royal Crest condominiums, request for variance for pool.
Correct. Do we have anyone on the call for the Royal Crest swimming pool?
Yes, Jeff Smith is here, if you can hear me.
We can, thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Smith, thank you very much. Were you also last year? Did we have the discussion and talk about the variance last year?
Yes, sir. It was me. Yep.
So I know the one thing that we did talk about, because it is a little different situation. Remember we had asked about doing a log or having a sense of how often, how many times
Yes.
the pool was open.
Yep.
Okay. Was there anything that we provided to the board, or was it just something you guys had? Or I know we didn't.
I don't know if anybody's ever looked. I do have records, and it was a total of 7 dates that we actually used a monitor. Is
Gotcha.
that what you're asking?
And the other days you had lifeguards for? Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Great. Well, that's great to hear. Any issues with planned on staffing this year? I imagine it must be the same difficulty.
It's funny you say that. We have a good list of kids that want to be lifeguards and that we've hired. And the people keep asking me, well, why do we need monitors? Or why don't we just have 3 lifeguards and give them 30 or 40 hours a week? And the answer is that it seems no matter how many we have on staff, we still run into these days, that sunny weekend days, that nobody wants to work. So it's I have now, I don't know what the total number is of lifeguards, but I think it's 7 or 8 right now that have committed, for the summer for various amounts of time. So I have a pretty good staff, and I have probably 7 or 8 residents that have signed up to be pool monitors.
Oh,
Awesome.
excellent.
One, that is great. We really appreciate you taking that approach and those steps. I know it was a little different, but I know it did help and reassure that there was somebody watching. So we do appreciate that.
All right.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Smith or regarding the variance?
So the same case as the previous variance. Last year, we mentioned at least one AED be obtained and maintained. So we just, we need one.
We do have it.
Okay.
Yep, we do have it in place. We bought it last year.
Perfect. Perfect. Right. Any other questions from anybody?
What about training for the AED and first aid CPR?
So we have we have 2 training sessions set up. We're going to train the monitors on all counts on opening and closing the pool. We have opening, closing checklist, and checking chemicals and safety and AED usage. And then we will also have a meeting with the lifeguards, who of course already are trained in the life-saving aspects, and most of them, I believe, with the AED, but the same thing, opening, closing, and chemical testing, and so on and so forth. But that is coming up in the next couple of weeks. We're going to have those two training sessions.
So I thought that all our guards now should be trained, CPR trained, right? Isn't AED training part of the CPR training now these days?
I would think so. I don't know the answer to that, but I would assume so and hope so.
Typically is. Yeah. The only reason I asked the question is that this is so far the only variance where we don't have that requirement that someone is trained to use the device.
All right.
And it's more of a question for the board. Was there a reason why we didn't include training last year?
I guess because we assumed, because they didn't have an AED, we just requested them to obtain it and maintain it.
Yeah.
And I know I personally always assumed that, AED training is part of the CPR training. When I do mine, they always train us for the AED. So, and all lifeguards should be CPR trained, so they should be part of the training, but we can definitely add that to the motion.
Yeah, I think it's important to add at least, and while they're already doing it, but at least add to the motion as a condition that there are people on site that are trained to use it. And if we were to be consistent with our other variances, it would say first aid, CPR, AED training.
I agree.
And that would be for the lifeguards.
Correct.
And we do go. I mean, and I'm only asking that because I'm just. You're not saying that my monitors have to have CPR and life-saving training, correct? I mean, they will be shown and trained on the AED, and I think we are doing a CPR training part of it.
Yeah, I think what Stefan was referring to is some of the other variances, because they have full-time staff who are, they're giving access to the pool and monitoring the pool. We do have the wording that CPR, first aid, and AED certified. Someone's on staff during hours the pool is open.
Okay.
So that is something we have in the other variances, and knowing that it's like the hotels that have the staff and there's somebody who's there 24/7. Yeah, I mean, would it be, since you did mention you are having the training for the monitors, I'd say at least I'd say the AED would be something we'd ask that to be part of that training.
Yes.
First aid awareness, that might be a little bit more than most of the monitors we're willing to probably to go on to, but I'm open to any suggestion if the board has any recommendations on which direction.
I highly recommend that the pool monitors would be CPR and AED trained, definitely.
Yep, I agree with that.
I agree as well. I mean, there's no point of having an AED if no one knows how to use it.
I agree.
So I think that CPR and AED training is a necessity.
Would that be something that you guys would be able to do, Mr. Smith?
Yes. No, but let's clarify, please. Do we want all the monitors? Now we're going to go back to it. Are we talking about lifeguards and monitors? Are we talking about just monitors or just lifeguards? We're all assuming that lifeguards, if they're certified, have this first aid and life-saving training.
Yes.
Is that a correct statement? Okay.
Yeah,
so we're talking more about monitors.
Correct.
Okay.
Just the gap of the time that we don't have the lifeguards and the pool is open. Those monitors would be our linchpin to make sure that there's some control, some protection. So that would be ideal. That would be the approach, was CPR and AED training for those monitors.
And I am quite sure, and I can't put my fingers on my training sheet. But I am quite sure that the girl, we have a girl that runs the YMCA, I think, or some denim pool. But anyway, it helped us last year and trained our monitors. We are doing it again. And I did just see an email where she is bringing the CPR dummy. So that is going to be part of the training.
Well,
And
very good.
I don't have it in front of me, but that will be part of the training. And if I know I just saw that somewhere. I'm not finding it, but if it's not, if I'm making this up, I will make sure it is part of it.
That is great. Yeah, I would say that's, if we're going to do the variance. That's a very good catch. We'll add that wording, which is kind of our standard wording. And because it is someone that's not necessarily an employee of the, in other cases, hotels, as long as we reference them, the monitors are who are covering during these times are AED CPR trained. We could put that in as one of the conditions, and I think that would be the only addition we'd have. So,
All right.
good. Any question for anybody else? Any other comments? Anybody like to propose a motion regarding the variance?
I can make the motion. In regards to Royal Crest condominium variance for 10 Rainbow Pond Drive, the board would like to reiterate comments from last year's variance, plus add an additional condition that requires those individuals, or I guess it requires at least one individual that is trained in CPR AED on site at all times when there are no lifeguards present and the pool is open for use.
Should we add pool monitors, maybe, Stefan?
Yep, we can add pool monitors.
Yeah, or even, yeah, as long as somebody, if there's someone at the desk who's, or one of the, fellow tenant or residents who are the monitors, as long as there's somebody on site. I like the wording where it's general enough we can use in others. So it's one individual is on site, at least one individual on site during these times that are first aid or that are AED CPR trained. That could include the monitors or Mr. Smith, whoever else might be there who is trained.
Yep.
Okay.
And also add the AED that it should be on site and maintained in close proximity.
Mm-hmm.
So those two conditions we'll add in there, rewording of the AED on site, and then the reference to the CPR and AED training for somebody being on site. Okay. Any other comments? We'll hear a second on the motion that's been amended.
I'll second that.
Perfect. Great. Then we will vote on. How about Mona?
Aye.
Stefan?
Aye.
Rachel?
Aye.
I also. Mr. Smith, thank you very much. Motion is passed, and we'll make sure those additions are changed into the variance.
All right. Thank you all for your time.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
Take care.
Great. So that passes 4-0-0. Next on our agenda is the third Swan Pond lifeguard variance.
Sure, and we have Heidi here from Swan Pond on the call tonight.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Great. How are you?
Doing well. So the variance, anything different than we're asking from last year's?
Nope. Same exact thing.
Great. And we'll ask the
This is the 2 swimming pools on site at the homes at Swan Pond, and the upper pool is the adult only pool, and then the lower pool is mixed use for children as well. So the lifeguard variance is strictly for the upper pool, which is adult only use.
Exactly. Yep. We've got the AED, we've got the phones, we've got it all. We hire a company, we have lifeguard at the lower pool all the time.
Gotcha.
Any incidents from last year?
Nope. The only thing that we've got is a registered sex offender is prohibited from using our pool, but that's it. Everything else is great.
Well, that we cannot include in here. That's
No.
our,
Nope. Yep, no,
Yeah. that's,
that's the only issue we've got, so.
and as far as our wording must be, maybe we add this slight wording, at least one AED is on site and being maintained in close proximity, similar wording that we've been talking about.
Yep.
Someone on staff and present at the pool, CPR first aid AED certified during all hours pool is open. That's something you're able to accomplish?
Yep, we hire Continental Pools. They staff a lot of the pools around town, so that's what they do. And everybody's certified and trained, so yeah. Makes life a little easier to hire the company to do it, so
Perfect.
they're available.
Okay. Any other questions from anyone on the board?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
Any other question from anybody else?
Nope.
Then we will entertain a motion if someone is so inclined.
Make another motion for the homes at Swan Pond at 178 Clear Pond Drive. The board would like to grant the variance with all of the same conditions provided from last year. And it looks like, and Rich, it looks like the second bullet at the end, it says the AED must be maintained in close proximity. So it looks like, I don't think we need to amend that language, do we?
Nope, that looks, must be maintained in close proximity. Yeah, unless we want the wording of be present and maintained, but I think that being maintained there is different than the other ones. I think the other one was, would be obtained, right? Is what the issue was before.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep, that sounds great then.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Been made, do we hear a second?
I'll second that.
Perfect, motion made and seconded. We'll vote on the motion. We'll start with Mona.
Aye.
Rachel.
Aye.
Stefan?
Aye.
And I also. Heidi, looks like we voted,
Great.
motion passed 4-0. Thank you very
Good.
much.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye now.
Bye.
All right, anything else we have on the agenda? We have the waste day recap.
Yeah,
Always-
so just a quick little update. So we had our Hazardous Waste Day on Saturday. The weather turned out great. It was a well-attended event. We had health department staff there. We also had a great group of MRC volunteers and CERT volunteers present. CERT provides us with the handheld radios, which makes it a lot easier than running through the parking lot, which we've done in years past. So just communicating through the radios has helped streamline the process of communication. We get help from the DPW. They collect batteries and propane tanks. We have a few other vendors on site as well. So it's definitely an all hands on deck project. We had about 200 or so cars come through. So we do appreciate everyone that took the time to properly dispose of their toxic and hazardous materials. And for those that were not able to utilize our event this past Saturday, we do have reciprocal agreements with many neighboring communities. So again, we can give a one-day pass. You would just pay our department $10, which is what we charge for our hazardous waste day. And then we give you the authorization form. You can attend the reciprocal agreements communities hazardous waste day, and then they would bill the town for what they get charged for the disposal. So anyone looking to do so, definitely just stop by the health department. There's dates that range from next week all the way through typically the end of September, early October. So there's definitely options out there for those that missed this past Saturday's event.
Very good. It's very successful. Congratulations. It's awesome.
Thank you. And that's all I had. I know we typically meet the first and third Tuesdays of the month, but with the election being May 20th, we are not going to be meeting. So unless there's business that would require us to have an additional meeting in May, if the board's okay, our next meeting would be scheduled for June 3rd.
Sounds good for me. Anybody have any?
Yeah, sounds good to me too.
Okay,
Works for me.
great. And might have Josh on the roster by then.
Yeah, so Josh will be sworn in with the select board at their May 13th meeting. So he will be ready.
Good luck.
Look forward to it. Thanks.
So we'll have you on board next meeting, Josh.
Absolutely.
Great. Anything else anybody has to discuss or share or add? If not, then we can make a motion to adjourn. Do we hear a second?
I'll second that.
Perfect. And we'll vote. Stefan,
Aye.
Mona,
Aye.
Rachel. I also, so we'll call the meeting adjourned, 7:56. Thanks, everybody. See
Bye,
you.
everyone. Have a great rest of the week.
Thank you.